Well, good afternoon. I'm here to tell you how to make the perfect cup of tea. Now, why am I doing this? I just feel that there's too much bad tea out there, particularly coffee shops, actually. Coffee shops, chains that you'd think would know better. Don't get me wrong, some coffee shops are very, very good indeed, so I'm not labelling them all as making bad tea. However, I just think as a nation, we pride ourselves on drinking lots and lots of tea, and I think sometimes we could do it better. So join me as I take you onto this tea making journey, and feel free to leave your comments at the end. So in an ideal world we'd be using one of these, a teapot. However, if I'm just making a cup of tea for myself, I'm not going to want a teapot, just because, well, it tends to make enough tea for about 3 people, and there's just me who drinks tea in this house. So I'm just going to make it in a cup. It does taste best out of a pot, I will add. However, if I'm just making it for myself or maybe a couple of people, I'm just going to do it in a cup. So when it comes to boiling the kettle, or I should say boiling the water in the kettle, because that would be a bit weird, use fresh water from the tap. Don't use water that is still in the kettle from the night before or earlier on in the day. The fresh oxygenated water that comes out the tap will enhance the flavour of the tea. Okay, this is going to sound really, really stupid, but it is really, really important to let the kettle boil. I've seen people switch it off at this point. No, big no. Keep it on until the kettle switches itself off, because that is the optimum boiling point. Tea will only brew in boiling water. It'll only brew properly in boiling water, getting that flavour out. Okay, selecting your mug also has some relevance. So try if you can to get a mug that has white on the inside, because that will aid you when putting your milk in at a later stage to get the perfect colour. Okay, so that's the kettle boiled. Before I put a tea bag in the mug, first thing I'm going to do is warm the mug. There we go. Now, why am I doing this? Remember I said tea brews best at boiling point. The ceramic on this mug takes away a lot of that heat. It conducts that heat away, so that will compromise the taste of your tea, trust me. So warm the mug first, just in the same way as you'd warm a teapot before putting the tea bags in. So just tip that away. Sorry about the washing up. Now that mug is nice and steaming, I can now put the tea bag in. Just give it a few seconds. Let the steam inside that mug open the pores of the tea leaves, so they're ready to accept that hot water as it goes in. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that that water is nice and boiling. Now that water goes in straight onto the tea bag. It's really important, as soon as that water's gone in, give the tea bag a stir. Don't be tempted to squeeze the tea bag against the side of the mug. A lot of people do this, and it just kind of makes the tea taste a little bit bitter and a bit nasty. So just stir it in there. And this is really, really important, this next bit. With your teaspoon, if you don't want to put it on the side, place it on top like that. Reason being, the metal of the spoon conducts the boiling heat away from the mug, thus compromising the flavour from the tea bag. Okay, so just keep the spoon on top of the mug like that and just wait for the tea bag to brew. So the brewing process is really, really important. Now, this is open to opinion, and however long you want to brew your tea bag for is up to you. I give it at least 1.5 minutes, sometimes 2 minutes. Don't be tempted to just put the tea bag in and whip it out straight away, because you're not giving the tea enough chance for that flavour to release. So just let it vibe. Okay, a couple of minutes have now passed, so I'm going to take the tea bag, just give it another quick stir, and then all I'm going to do is not squeeze it against the side of the mug to get all that tea out of it, but just to kind of stop it from dripping. Stick it into a container. Now again, how much milk you have is entirely up to you. It doesn't really matter how much or little you put in now, because the flavour of the tea is there. You've allowed that tea to brew. Okay, so if you like your tea milky, that's absolutely fine, because it's actually going to taste of tea. Okay, I just like to put a little bit in. I start with a little bit and I stir, and I see what that looks like. It's a little bit strong for me still, so a little bit more goes in. There we go, not too much. That's a perfect colour for me. Golden rules of making cups of tea. Do not put in the milk and the tea bag before putting in the hot water. That is a crime in the tea making world. Basically, you've set yourself up to fail from the first minute. That tea is going to taste absolutely disgusting. So don't do that, and just allow it to brew. So now it's time for the big reveal. That is nice. It tastes good, it's hot, and most importantly, it tastes of tea. Cheers. Thank you for watching.